Today I'm going to be talking about the Trecena of Toj and what that might bring in. Now, it's a particularly interesting time because, of course, we have the solar eclipse happening. And, of course, I'm sure that everybody's aware that the solar eclipse can only happen on a new moon. And so they're always going to go together. There's nothing special that a solar eclipse is on a new moon. In fact, if the solar eclipse wasn't a new moon, then we need to be scared. But, it's very interesting how it is starting a Trecena, a new beginning, and looking at the symbology or the idea of what a solar eclipse, it's kind of like the light getting hidden and then coming back again, reminding us of exactly what it can be like if we were to have our energy supply from the sun cut off to us, how like it would go dark and cold very quickly and life on earth would cease to be. And if that doesn't make us grateful, then I don't know what would. What a way to begin the Trecena of Toj. Now, I'm sure you're aware, the videos that I'm making, one of the things that I felt was very important is like, right, okay, we can get this information and these ideas about what each of the Nawales means and about how to work with it and what does this 13-day period mean. But it's like, how can we actually integrate that into our lives? And this is what my goal with these Trecena videos is to do. It's like, great, okay, so it's one Toch, so it's two Tsi, so it's three bats. How am I actually going to work with that, incorporate it into my daily routine so that I can harmonize my lifestyle more with the sacred calendar? The sacred calendar, a weaving of time, and something that we can see that as we move through, whether we're looking at one day, whether we're looking at 13 days, whether we're looking at 260 days or 365 days or 360 or 20 or 819, whatever cycle it is, this is the weaving together of the flow of time to create a more stable reality. And so this is what I feel that we're doing here. So if we looked at this as being 13 days of gratitude, 13 days of giving, 13 days where we are paying back for all the energy that we've received from the sun, for life itself. And so, of course, as every day, the practice of gratitude might be something which comes up very, very strongly. The practice of giving comes up very strongly as well for the Trecena of Toj. It's about keeping ourselves healthy, making sure that we have given adequately for what we've received, making sure that we give back to where we can. And as always, you'll see the links in the description of the video to various organizations which I feel that I can vouch for as the money will get to where it needs to get to. Okay, so maybe that's a way to look at it. We also see Toj connected with ceremony. Now, of course, again, every day is good for ceremony in its own way, but this is a particular time to be making our offerings, making our service, looking after what's around us to enrich and bring harmony to our community. So we're going to begin the Trecena with the day 1 Toj. So what do we have? We have the number 1 representing beginnings, representing birth. And we have Toj representing ceremony, representing giving, bringing things into balance. And so this could be like the beginning of the giving. This can be the beginning of the ceremony. It's a great time. Maybe, we all go through periods when we let things slip a bit. Maybe we get too busy with our day job or something like that. Maybe we lose track of our spiritual life, for want of better words, and we stop making our ceremonies. We forget, I don't know, things come along and they disrupt our routine. We get out of this regular pattern of ceremonies. 1 Toj might be a great day to reinitiate your pattern of ceremonies, to begin again, to make it anew. Now, Toch being the payment, it is something where we may have taken, we may have been given, and Toch gives us the opportunity to give back, gives us the opportunity to redress the balance so that we come into full health. It's, for our own good, as it were. And so, what a great day to be doing it, especially with this solar eclipse going on as well, to recognize kind of like what happens and why, we might see that as a good time to make ceremony, to bring back the light, as it were. So from one Toch, we're then going to go into two Tzi. So Tzi, the Nawal of faith and loyalty, of unconditional love, also the Nawal of the law. And here we see it with the number 2, which can very starkly represent duality. I always call it like the number 2 as representing like the binary, the 1 or the 0. It's either this or it's this, and there's nothing in between. It can be those two polar opposites. Now, if we're connecting it with Tzi, then maybe this is going to help to, let's say, dispel grey areas within the law, as it were. If you're aware of what's going on in Guatemala at the moment, and kind of the with the protests, with democracy at risk, at stake, and perhaps hopefully seeing both sides, bringing things to a resolution, having the faith, the unconditional love that this might happen. Maybe Tutsi will be the day for that. Now, we can also see that Tzi is about loyalty. It's about being loyal to one. It's like saying, you with them, you with us. And so there may be this polarization going on. And of course, there's several other situations around the world where there's that. And it's about choose which one you're going to be attached to. Which one are you going to have your faith in? Which one are you going to put your loyalty towards? Tutsi might be bringing up a lot of those kind of questions for you to answer. We could also see two very well connected with self-sacrifice. Now, this is in the Trecena of Toj. This is in the time of offering and giving. And it's saying, right, okay, what do you feel that you might need to sacrifice in order to stay faithful, in order to stay loyal to what what you put your faith in, what you've attached yourself to? From Tutsi, we then move into 3 bats. And so we have Bats the weaver, Bats the creator, Bats the one who is normally going out there to perform. They're going to make the world a more beautiful place. And then we have it connected with the number 3, which could be seen as very much connected with the home and very much be seen as a much more internal number. And so it's kind of, I see 3 bats as one of the very unusual times where things go, you kind of have 2 elements. I wouldn't say they work against each other, but they kind of represent opposites, where you've got one which is very outgoing and one which was very inward looking. Now, for me, if I'm looking at that, one of the things that comes to mind is this is about creativity within, whether it's within the heart or whether it's within the home. I think that this is a great day to be staying home and understanding what you can do to make your home a more beautiful place, to make your, whether it's your home, your community, the inner world. This is about, that's where your creativity is. So we might even look at it with regards to things like cooking, with regards to interior design. I know that those are very sort of surface level, as it were. But for me, that's where the creativity could be focused on 3 bats, because we might find that our usual, let's say, stage presence doesn't go over in quite the way that we would expect it to on the 3 bats day. Now, of course, turning our creativity within, turning our creativity into our home, again, is another way that we could see of service within that Toch Trecena. From 3 bats, we then move into 4 ech. So, ech, the journey, the road, the path, and here with the number 4, very much more the day of the physical path. This is the day to actually kind of like go out, to go move around, to go maybe somewhere new, to take a journey in the physical. Ech is about going out and having experiences. It's about moving around because with that movement, we're collecting new information as we go along. Ech is about experimentation and experience. And here with the number 4, we're bringing it right into the physical plane of existence. So this is not sitting there looking at, pictures and wondering about it. It's going out on the road, setting forth and really going and having that physical experience, something new, something novel, something you haven't experienced before. That would be a great way to spend 4ech. So if you have to go on a trip somewhere, 4ech would be a great day to be doing it. Now, we can also see physical experience. Maybe it's just about having an experience that you haven't had before. In, very much down to earth, grounded. Go try something out for the first time. 4ech would be a wonderful day for that. And hopefully, it also means that things are going to get freed up and we'll be able to travel around a bit more. From 4ech, we then move into 5ach. So we have ach, the nawal of home and harmony, ach, the nawal of community. And here, combined with the number 5, the one hand representing the work that we do. Now, ach, I often think of as there is a leadership aspect to it. It's certainly about the elders, as it were. It's certainly about the fathers, the grandfathers of community. And here we see it with the number 5, the hand which does the work. And so this is really about putting our work into our community, putting our work into our home, into stabilizing it. And so we see what we put our attention to, what we put our work into, that's where the benefits come. Not the benefits for us as such, although we're likely to reap the benefits for all, in particular with ach. And this is a day which you might consider, right, what can I do for my community in this 13 days of service, in this 13 days of giving? It's like, how can I make my community a more harmonious place? What energy, what effort, what sacrifice can I make on behalf of my community so that it is more harmonious? Okay, so again, like I say, looking at different ways of serving, looking at different ways of giving throughout the Toj Trecena. 5ach would consider putting your energy into your home and community. From 5ach, we then go into 6 ish. Ish being the nawal of the altar, being the nawal that connects us to the heart of the earth. The nawal where we're making ceremony, we're looking after Mother Earth. And here we see it connected with the number 6, representing, or the way that I see it anyway, the connection between the sky, the earth, and then the physical plane of existence, to draw on the masculine and feminine essences and bringing them together in the physical world, bringing them together like family. So what we see here, if we see it with its connection to Ish, we see the connection to the sacred spaces. We see the connection to using our words, going out making our ceremony, going out making our prayers, making our offerings on behalf of the physical realm, on behalf of the family around us, connecting to the sky and the earth and bringing that together in order to bring in what is needed by our family, what is needed by our community. Now, if we put that into some kind of physical context as to what we can really go out and do, because maybe it is, if you got a sacred site close to you, then Six Ish is a great time to go visit it. But we can also see this is a great time to be looking after your environment. And so if you have the opportunity to go out and kind of get inspired to put some physical work into what's going on around you, tidying up, clearing up, showing the earth a bit of love. So this is a wonderful thing to be doing on Six Ish, because Ish is also the things which come to you, which nourish you. And our offering in the Toj Trecena on Six Ish can be to show that we actually, got some love for the earth as well. From Six Ish, we then go into 7 Tzikin. Tzikin being the Nawal of the bird, being the Nawal of vision. And that vision bringing prosperity to all. Here we see it with the number 7 representing endings, the number 7 representing finality. So finalizing the vision seems to be a good opportunity on that day. And so what have you been looking forwards to? Look, what are you projecting? Kind of like, that's where I want to go. That's the vision that I hold for my life or for my work or for my kids or whatever it might be. The 7 Tzikin, well, when we see the 7, we're sometimes thinking about like sitting on top of the pyramid, understanding, okay, are we going to make that decision or that decision or that decision? Which way are we going? And so it's like, right, okay, choose the vision that you want to move to and go with it. Make it final. Like, finally make up your mind about which vision you want to follow to bring prosperity again to your community, to your children, to what's going into the future. Because for me, with Tzikin, we're looking further than the next 6 months, the next 9 months. We're looking further than the next year. We're looking to where it is going. And so 7 Tzikin might bring about the understanding of how to choose where to go next, what to set your sights on, what to focus on to go into the future. And of course, once 6 comes up, then it's time to go for it, work with it. Time to make your choice about what vision you want to follow. From 7 Tzikin, we go to 8 Achmach. So Achmach being the day representing forgiveness, representing acceptance of who we are. And here we see it with the number 8, representing kind of like, well, I like to see it the wholeness of above and below. It's the 1 of beginnings and the 7 of endings, kind of like coming together like a whole cycle. The ceremonial day. And so a great day for a day of forgiveness. Again, forgiveness ceremonies in whatever shape or form they might take. And of course, that in itself can be seen as an act of service. But also for acceptance. It's like, right, okay, yeah, maybe I didn't get that right. Maybe you didn't get that right. But here we are. It's time to move on. What can we give to make it right? So for me, like, the 8th day is often seen as ceremonial day and forgiveness ceremonies. That's what 8 Achmach is for. Whichever way you choose to do it. We all have different ways to do it. Maybe you're going to make a fire ceremony, or maybe you're going to do something different. But this is a great day to tap into, to redress that balance, to make sure that, kind of like what needs to be resolved, what needs to be let go of so that everybody can get on with their lives. 8 Achmach is a great day to be working with that. From 8 Achmach, we're then going into 9 Noach, another very, very interesting day. We have Noach, which we could see as representing, well, it represents thought, it represents intellect, it represents intelligence and knowledge. And in some ways, I could see it representing the left hemisphere of the brain, the logical part, the mathematical part. And in some ways, we might think of that as rather like the square part, let's say. And then here comes the number 9, the most feminine of all of the numbers, representing the 9 lunations of gestation. And so it's almost as if we could have like the square Noch rounded off with the 9, bringing in that femininity, bringing in the compassion, bringing the feminine essence of thought, of intellect. And one way that, if I had 2 words that I'd like to apply to 9 Noch, it would be feminine logic. That would be the way that I would see it. And so I think there's a particularly interesting pairing because it brings two poles together, as it were, to create something complete. 9 Noch is a great day to round off your ideas, let's say. The number 9 also representing life itself. And so bring your ideas to life. Bring your choices to life, because the Noch is helping us to come up with the solutions to issues that are in our lives. And here with the number 9, this is big life issues we're talking about. How can we bring it to life? So 9 Noch, yes, it may be an element of thought, thinking on that day, because that's what Noch is about. But it's like thinking about how to bring it to life, how to, make it, bring it into this world. From 9 Noch, we then go into 10 Tihash. Tihash, the Nawal of the obsidian blade. Tihash, the healing day. And here with the number 10, representing agreement, cooperation, society, and community. So, 10 Tihash as a community healing day would be possibly one of the most powerful and useful that we could have. And what better service could we do to our community, for our community, than create community healing? Now, of course, there are many things going on right now where peace needs to be sought, where agreement needs to be sought, where dialogue needs to be sought. Tihash gives us the discernment to see through to the truth. It's not just going to kind of like bend over for things. It has to be clarity that comes through seeing things truly. But the ultimate of that is that Tihash wants to cut out the rot, wants to cut out the disease in order to create peace. And here, when we see it with the shaking of hands, this is a great day to be making peace agreements, be coming to accords. From 10 Tihash, we then move to 11 Kawok. Kawok being the new birth. Kawok being the bringing of the new into the world, and of course being the Nawal of the rain, of the storm. And here with the number 11, this is a high number. This could be seen almost as a chaotic number, but it can also be seen as a number of creativity. And that creativity coming through bringing all sorts of things, or going into all sorts of different directions that we didn't know sometimes that were even available. We intuitively go there, we find something new, we bring it together. Here with Kawok, Kawok also being a Nawal which can represent healing, Kawok also being one who is going to bring something strong that pushes us through to something new. And so with 11 Kawok, it may well be that there are many things coming from like left field, as it were, to help us to create something new, to bring that into the world. And I see that with the 11, it's like we don't come up with novelty by walking the same path over and over again. We've got to go off into different areas in order to bring it in. And so if we associate Kawok with healing, this may well be looking outside of the usual areas where we might find it in order to come up with a new plan, because the old plan isn't working. Okay? And so how do we find it? Well, again, the Trecena of Toj suggests that we have to give something up, or that we have to give something. And maybe it's going to take a little bit more effort than usual to go out of our let's say, our usual understanding, to go out of our usual ideas, to go out of our usual rhythm or pattern in order to find out what it is that we're going to need to help us to help us to heal our community. From 11 Kawok, we then go into 12 Achpu. So Achpu being the quest for the divine, being the quest to connect with the ancestors, being the quest for the hero within to become all that we can become. And here we see it with the number 12 representing all of our life's experience. Now, Achpu days, they're sometimes going to bring up the challenges of the hero, for want of better words. They ask us to test our mettle. Are we really cut out for this? Are we really dedicated for this? Are we really going to go forwards with this? Because we're facing this challenge or that challenge or that challenge. How are we going to get over it? Well, when we see it combined with the number 12, this is saying kind of like, look at all the experience that you've brought together that's brought you to this point. Because sometimes there's little clues which have been hidden along the path. Maybe you weren't even, maybe you weren't even paying attention at the time, but maybe you'd almost forgotten about them. And you realize that this is what you need to help you to get over this next hurdle. It's going to help to bring in this understanding from your life's work, this understanding from your life's experience to help you to get over it. And so sometimes 12 Arpu is going to bring up some strong challenges for you to face, but it's also kind of saying you've already got the information there, you've already got the experience to overcome it. It's just up to you to put it together. Okay, so there may be some contemplation that's involved there to bring out those life experiences in order to make things happen, in order to get over your challenges that you're facing on that 12 Achpu day. And then finally, we come to the day of 13 Imosh, which is a very, very, very powerful day. Imosh representing the connection to, well, the great bodies of water, the lakes, the seas, the oceans, also representing the connection that we have to everyone else around us, the psychic field that we exist in. And here we see it connected with 13, the highest number, the ultimate number. Now, I often feel like in Mosh, it's like they have all their little psychic antennae turned on. They are highly empathic. They're feeling into everything that's going on around them already. And then when you turn that up to 13, this is very easy to, well, sort of like fry our nervous system as well. It is a day of great sensitivity. It's a day when we are very, very, very much empathic and connected to those around us. So, are we ready to deal with it? Because sometimes we're not. And sometimes we might not really understand why we're feeling like this, why we're feeling that like that. On 13 Imosh, maybe this is a time to go and seek solitude by a lake. Maybe it's a time to, turn off the TV, turn off the internet, kind of like just go and remember what dreams you hold, rather than being influenced by people around you. It's a great day to be asking the ancestors, which is also recognized within the number 13. Like, receive the dream from spirit, receive the dream from the ancestors. But one of the most, let's say, challenging sides of it might be getting totally overwhelmed by the psyche around you. What are you connecting with? How are you connecting with it? There's a lot of things going on right now that obviously we need to be aware of. But how is it affecting your nervous system? How is it affecting your consciousness? 13 Imosh, we don't necessarily need the TV or our phones to be telling us what's going on, we can feel it. We can be very, very highly empathic for what's going on around us on that day 13 Imosh. So we've got to learn to control it so that we can use it rather than be put out of our way by it, if you know what I mean. But rather than being, sometimes when we get knocked off our center because we are so empathic to what's going on, it doesn't really help us and it doesn't really help anyone else. It's a great day to reset and ask for, let's say, spirit, ask for the ancestors to show us what's needed, particularly through our dreams. Okay? So, that's the next 13 days. I hope that was interesting for you, and I look forward to seeing you in 13 days' time for the Trecena of Toj. Thank you.